He once thought his father was too strict, too silent, too ordinary. No long speeches, no fancy advice, just simple words and quiet actions. But years later, standing alone at the hardest moment of his life, he realized something shocking. Every decision he was about to make had already been taught to him, not in a classroom, not in success, but in struggle. This is the story of how a father's simple lessons changed his son's life forever. Asterisk, when he was younger, he never noticed the lessons forming around him. His father rarely raised his voice and never gave long speeches about life. Instead, he let his actions speak. Every morning before sunrise, his father quietly got ready for work, moving through the house with purpose and calm. There was no excitement. In his routine, no complaints about tiredness, no praise expected. To a child, it all seemed ordinary, even boring. As the years passed, the boy began to see those moments differently. He remembered watching his father fix broken things instead of replacing them, choosing patience over anger when mistakes happened. When problems came, his father didn't panic or blame others. He paused, thought carefully, and then acted. At the time, these moments felt small, almost invisible. But they were shaping something deeper. There were days when money was tight, and plans didn't work out. Still, his father carried himself with quiet dignity, never allowed frustration to turn into bitterness. He taught without words that strength is not about being loud or forceful, but about staying steady when life becomes uncertain. The boy learned that responsibility doesn't need applause, and effort doesn't need an audience. Years later, facing challenges on his own, those silent lessons came back to him. When he felt like giving up, he remembered his father's calm face during difficult days. When anger tried to take control, he remembered patience. In moments of doubt, he chose to act with integrity, just as he had seen at home. Only then did he truly understand the most powerful lessons are not spoken. They are lived, and those quiet examples had prepared him for life in ways words never could. Asterisk, growing up, he often felt his father was too strict, especially when other children seemed to live with fewer rules and more freedom. While his friends played late into the night, his father insisted on early mornings. While others looked for shortcuts, his father demanded effort. At the time, it felt unfair. He believed comfort was happiness and discipline was punishment. His father believed otherwise. He showed day by day that discipline was not about control, but about preparation. Simple habits were non-negotiable. Finishing what you start, respecting time, and taking responsibility even when it was inconvenient. There were no excuses allowed for laziness, and no rewards given without effort. The father never explained these rules in detail, he simply lived by them. There were moments when the boy failed, missed chances, careless mistakes, lost confidence. Instead of rescuing him, his father allowed him to face the consequences. It was uncomfortable and sometimes painful, but it taught him something important. Growth begins where comfort ends. Slowly, the boy learned to delay pleasure, to say no to easy options, and to stay consistent even when motivation disappeared. As he grew older, those habits became his shield. When life demanded discipline, waking up early, working harder than expected, staying focused while others gave up, he didn't break. The structure his father had built into him became inner strength. What once felt like strictness turned into freedom. He could control his choices, his emotions, and his direction. Only later did he realize the truth. Comfort gives temporary relief, but discipline builds a lasting life. His father hadn't taken anything away from him. He had given him the tools to stand strong when life stopped being easy. Asterisk, for a long time, he believed he understood his father's lessons, but true understanding came much later. It arrived quietly, during moments when there was no one to guide him, no voice to correct him, and no hand to steady his choices. Life had become heavier, filled with responsibility and uncertainty. That was when the meaning of those early lessons finally became clear. Standing at a crossroads, he felt fear pulling him in one direction and doubt pushing him in another. In those moments, memories surfaced without effort. He remembered his father's calm reactions during difficult times, the way he never rushed decisions, and how he chose honesty even when it cost him comfort. Those memories became a compass, They reminded him that panic never solved problems and shortcuts only delayed failure. There were days when he wished he could ask for advice, but instead he listened to the echo of familiar guidance inside his mind. When challenges tested his patience, he remembered endurance. When success tempted his pride, he remembered humility. His father's lessons had quietly transformed into his own inner voice, guiding him through situations his father had prepared him for long before. He realized that wisdom often arrives after experience, not before it. The lessons he once ignored were now protecting him from mistakes he could not afford to make. Even in moments of loneliness, he felt supported not by presence, but by principle. In time, he understood that learning does not end when teaching stops. The true power of those lessons was their permanence. They lived on in every decision he made, shaping his character and strengthening his resolve. What he once thought he learned too late was, in fact, learned at the perfect time when he was ready to live it.